one and all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode Off the Dome. I'm your humble interviewer, Jordan Brown, and with me for the very first time is our charity champion. Say hi, charity champion.
Hi, charity champion.
Maya, thank you so much for joining me. So we're recording this on February 1st, which means the Tiltify, I think, technically is open for another 3 hours today, because I think it closes at noon for American time on February 1st. But as of this morning, as of midnight last night, we officially crossed the $25,000 mark for Doctors Without Borders. Truly incredible. I am so very grateful to people like you who donated so much money. And really, I just blown away. So first of all, thank you.
That's amazing. That's so much money.
Yeah. It's really funny. So Run DMG, who organized everything, who's like the meme master of TikTok, when he reached out to me originally, we thought it was going to be like he and I could do like back and forth videos over the course of the month and maybe raise $1,000. And then he posted a video where he was like, "Hey, does anyone want to get involved in this?" And I think we ended up with like 100 TTRPG creator folks. And obviously beat the goal of $1,000 by quite a bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't heard official totals. I think I won though, which is very exciting. Shout out to, I think it's Dungeon Jack and Diana of the Rose, who both got $2,000 in donations and made me really up my game for what I was going to be doing, which is why I did shots of hot sauce on.
It was great. That was a really good stream.
Thank you. I think my body has recovered.
Good.
It took some time. It's also very early in the morning for me. For those of you watching, Maya is in Norway, so in an attempt to not make this at midnight for you, I was like, all right, I'll do 9 a.m. for me, and that'll be fine.
That's so nice.
Hey, you're the nice one here. I don't know why anybody donated. I mean, I get why people donated during the Sauce stream, because like you get to watch me nearly die from taking a shot of Tabasco. That one hurt. Anyway, Vic Michaelis texted me about that one. So like that's how bad that one was. And because I clipped the coffee chug and sent it to Vic. I don't know if I've talked to anyone about this yet, because everything is a blur. Anyway, it turns out, I may have posted this in a video. It turns out that I assume you're watching Very Important People, because I assume everyone watches everything that I watch.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so in that episode, when Nana pours her martini into Vic's coffee, it turns out that was ginger ale in Nana's martini glass. I assumed it was olive juice because it had that kind of color to it. And that like would make sense for a martini, because martinis have a lot of times olive juice in it. And I assumed it wasn't booze because I assumed they weren't drinking on set.
It was the wrong show.
Yeah, and then I didn't ask anyone what it actually was. And so I told Vic after that it was olive juice and watered down coffee. And they were like, "Oh, ours was flat ginger ale." And I was like, "Oh man, that would have been much, much better." It still wouldn't have been good, but it would have been better. Anyway, I've rambled incoherently for several minutes now. Maya, one of the things I really love in these interviews is I love finding out how folks made their way to Dropout. How did you find your way into this weird little community that we have?
I was like, that's the one question I've seen you ask other people. So I was like, okay, I'll figure that out. Have not been able to. I managed to find out that I subscribed to College Humor's YouTube channel in 2014.
Okay. I mean, look,
Um,
that makes the trajectory from that to Dropout
yeah,
then makes total sense.
that makes total sense. But I cannot. I know we got Dropout in 2021. No clue why or how. Uh, the last 4 years,
Yeah,
fully don't
that's
know
fair.
when anything happened.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think we ended up getting Dropout because of Dimension 20. Um, because we had like because of Dan Harmon and Community gotten into
Hmm.
like D&D and stuff and watched his D&D show, and then found College Humor's version of that, which was great. And kind of yeah. So
Yeah,
it's always kind of been there. And then yeah,
it's
finally.
some might say it's been there the whole time.
Oh
Yeah,
God. How did I not do that? I'm
I
gonna kick
I've
myself
got
all night.
professional media training.
That's true.
Yeah, I haven't watched Harmon Quest, but from what I have heard is it's kind of like Dimension 20, but sort of poking fun at it, at like the community. Whereas Dimension 20, although very funny, is very earnest in its like Dungeons and Dragonsing,
Yes.
which I can see why that makes a very clear like, oh, I like this and I like the humor. But also, I would like it if the people were like, "No, we're saving the world and it's serious."
Yes.
Like,
A bit more serious storytelling for sure.
yeah.
That's
Um, yeah, I know I've mentioned my weird little path into it, but it also was like a mid like quarantine looking for content thing where I was like I don't know what to watch, and then like I found Dropout, and, like, consumed everything. Um, yeah, I don't know where that sentence is going.
no,
Like
this
Vic
is
Michaelis, sometimes I start talking and I don't have a plan for how it ends.
perfect.
Um, I will say you get the first you get to be the first one to know, other than like my wife, the bummer news that Vic had to reschedule our interview today, so I won't
No.
get to post a new Vic Michaelis interview today. I don't know when we're going to reschedule. They texted me last night to be like, "Hey, I got called into work. We have to reschedule. I'm so sorry."
The tradition is off.
I
That's
know.
horrible.
Well, presumably, I can get some time with them next week, and we can still
It's true.
have a like it'll be off, but like it'll still be before the next episode of Very Important People.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's yeah. I'll tell you what, my life has gotten real weird. um,
Yeah.
uh,
That
uh,
sounds right. I have no idea
yes.
how many of these interviews you're doing, but that's
Couldn't tell you. A million, as far as I can
yeah.
tell. I don't have any more on the calendar, and I have so many that I need to schedule. Like
Yeah.
it's because, as you're aware, I'm bad at following up. Because I owe you a deep apology of where I sent you an email and I was like, "Hey, thank you," and you were like, "Great, here's times that work for me," and then I just didn't reply. Um, yeah,
That's
you're
but I also replied like, "Oh, after Sunday anytime." And that's horrible.
It's not. It's super helpful because like I have a full-time job, and so like if someone is like anytime after Sunday, I'm like great, and then I can just look at my calendar and be like, I have a window. At the time, it was 30 minutes. Now it's an hour. Thank you again. But like I have a 30-minute window that I can like plug in an interview here. Great. But then I didn't do that. I think I think I only have one outstanding email, and then there are just a bunch that I haven't sent yet. So like, especially if I knew
That's
the
pretty good.
people like Smoking Glue Guns, Felix, a few other people who like bought interviews with me, I was like, you guys are just gonna wait, because
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, Mr. Kurtwise does the like bard and wizard sketches and stuff. Really fantastic TikToker. I mean, very specifically does bard stuff because he has like dances with sunglasses. He's incredible. Anyway, he bought an interview from me, and I was like, okay. I was like, what what do you want to talk about? Because this is wild. You have so many more followers than me. I don't know why we're doing this. Um, and he was like, I want to talk, because like he and a partner made like a new TTRPG. And he's like, I want to talk about that. And I was like, okay, I need you to send me the book then, because I don't know anything about it. But we'll see. That's my outstanding email, is that I think I need to follow up with him. Anyway, but yeah, I have because Run DMG, who was keeping track, obviously, was like sending me updates like in Discord, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. And I mean, it's just like mountains. At one point, I was trying to keep track of everyone, and I sent myself an email of like, here's everyone you need to contact with like all the email addresses on it, and then I sort of lost track of that. The list kept growing, and because I refused to lose, I didn't close it. Like stop taking people's donations. Anyway, I know you said you got into Dropout for like Dimension 20 is one of the big reasons. What are some of your favorite D20 seasons then?
Oh, I'm missing 2.
Okay.
Because me and my partner watch all the Intrepid Hero seasons together, and that takes way longer than me watching everything else. So I get to watch all the side quests. So we have not watched Starstruck, and we have not watched Unsleeping City 2 yet. I think my favorite is sophomore year or the 7. For some reason they're the same. And then Burrow's End came and destroyed me. And Crown of Candy has to be up there somewhere. I can't do lists. Lists don't work.
That's
no
fair.
one's at the top. There's only excellence and then really good. And that's it.
Yeah. That's entirely fair.
They're too good at what they do.
Yes, very much so. I was on TikTok this morning and I saw someone was talking about Dropout, like in a video. And one of the comments on the video was that Burrow's End was the cutest season of Dimension 20 ever. And I wrote cutest ? Because like, what are you talking about?
Insane.
Not a word I would use to describe that season.
No.
At any point. Yeah.
No, because you can't even have watched one episode. That's not cute.
Yeah, you can't even have watched the trailer. The trailer let you know it was going to be bad. I was very confused by that adjective.
Cute. I guess if you like have a lot of images in your head and you're just seeing small stoats running around, they're still killing a bunch. There's so much happening.
Yeah, there's still a meat puppet, Carlos Luna, at the end of the season. Like, it's so not good. Cute. It's lots of really wonderful descriptors, but cute is not one of them.
No.
Yeah.
They're cute moments.
Yeah.
But overall, not cute.
No.
I do wish I could have touched the bear though. I love like physical gory stuff to touch. Yeah, I'm very happy that Erica was there to touch a beating heart for me. That was very nice.
Yeah. I mean, you still could just stop donating to things like this and buy it whenever it goes up for auction.
I hope every organ is one auction.
I assume the whole bear will be an auction, the whole map.
We'll never have that much money.
You don't have like 10,000 US just like laying about?
I had to very calmly go into my partner after I bought the second half-hour here and be like, I used more money. There was a sauce stream. I had to. He ate Tabasco.
I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see him chug coffee and olive juice.
It felt bad not to give money at that. And so then I did
very much appreciate it. We ended up raising $1,100 during that stream, which is really cool. And obviously, like, was super blown away because I reached out to like Raven Bartlett made me a video, Vic Michaelis made me a video, Rick Perry was going to make me a video, but his kids were sick, and so like he couldn't. So then he donated instead, which is so kind and wonderful. And then obviously there was the Christina Abria Carlos video that like melted my brain, because like I reached out to Christina, because Christina and I became like actual friends during our interview, which is, again, is a very weird thing to say.
Such a good interview. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah,
so good.
It's so much fun. Talking to someone who loves a thing, even when you don't know anything about it. And I'll tell you what, though, the Larsa Pippen, Marcus Jordan, it probably doesn't mean that much to you, but just like has broken my brain in a way I can't describe, because it's wild. But yeah, when I reached out to Christina to be like, hey, would you want to make a video, just like encouragement or discouragement, whatever. And she was like, yeah, can I do it on Thursday? And I was like, sure. And then Thursday and then obviously like Thursday came, and it was because she was going to be seeing Abria and Carlos on Thursday for reasons that are unclear to me. Just that everyone is friends. And so I was like, this was like the Abria thing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, because I didn't even ask Abria because she's so busy. And then like to have Abria in it. Oh no, that's not true. I did ask Abria. She didn't reply to me because she's so busy. And but yeah, then Carlos coming in at the end, just perfection.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Cheese here is so good.
I love so Pirates of Leviathan so much.
Love Pirates of Leviathan. It took me a long time to get to the like Zoom seasons, but Pirates of Leviathan is so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much.
I mean, I've said, like, I think I get why people struggle with that season, because it's, the audio quality is not as good, because it was their first like Zoom season. Obviously, like the finale of sophomore year, they had to do over Zoom. But that one, was streaming live, so it felt special and weird and whatever, and like that felt fine. But yeah, like it's not like Unsleeping City 2, which I know you said you haven't seen yet, but like audio quality is much better. They're using a lot more like maps and stuff to like show things, and then I'm assuming that means you've seen Mice and Murder.
Yes.
I like, obviously, like the best Zoom season, because that was a season you couldn't do in the dome, because of like the text messages like worked so brilliantly well for the mystery part of it.
So good.
Yeah, like really smart to incorporate that. Yeah, but I was but yeah, I think Pirates is such a good season, and for me, Pirates was happening. Like I wasn't watching. I don't think I watched Pirates live, but I was really. Oh no, I may have watched Pirates live, because by the time, because like Crown of Candy would have been the first season I think I watched live, like week to week, I should say. And so like Pirates is after that, because like that's when they started getting into Zoom, because they'd already filmed Crown of Candy. But yeah, like it felt so good, because like it had the like I desperately wanted that content to keep existing, and like getting to see it was like, oh, maybe things will be okay. Yeah. But yeah, I really love the Pirate season. Just like season of such heavy hitters. I recently I'm in my home game, I have Leviathan, City of made of pirates, and it has like all the same locations and a bunch of the same NPCs, at least in name, but like none of the same like plot, because I'm not going to steal that part. But there is a Barbarella Sarsaparilla Gangling in the and I was like, the most beautiful, like angelic voice you've ever heard, comes on stage to sing. I had messaged Christina right before I had when I had done that. it's very fun to be able to be like, hey, I did a thing that you
It made
inspired.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm so blown away by Christina in that season. Just
Hmm.
singing in general and then making up songs as you go, but over Zoom and make it sound good. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I
I,
know, like
these
you
people.
said, you've watched that interview, so I know you you've seen her do the like, do you want to see me become her Marilyn Monroe style, where she just like
Yes,
drops into the voice. It's so good.
so
Um,
good.
and truly, like, I mean, one of my proudest accomplishments of the internet is that video she made where she was reading The Night Before Christmas as Bob. Just like, it's so good, and I was just like, I don't know how this happened, and I don't know how I'm responsible, but what a joy.
It. I thank you for that because that's. I think I both saved it on TikTok and on my phone because I need this to exist forever.
Yeah,
Sorry, my cat is scratching at my door. I don't know if you can
yeah, yeah.
hear that.
I can't, but if you need to go
Okay,
let the
great.
cat in, you
No,
can.
that's
But yeah,
fine. She's
yeah.
just annoying and wants to be in here and have a cuddle.
Mm.
That's fine.
You're good. I mean, look, if you want to let the cat in and have a cuddle, like, we've had cats on interviews before. Haley Whipjack's cat Hermes shows up whenever he feels like it, and Haley just has to decide, or does not get to decide, I should say. Um, but yeah, I know you said so. I know you said you haven't seen Starstruck. Starstruck is, I think, still my favorite season. It's wild, and like in a really really fun way. um
Your your recommendations mean so much to me. So I'm just waiting so patiently for my partner to be ready to watch
yeah,
it. And I
that's
expect it
fair.
to be the best season because you've said that.
Oh no, now I've raised the bar too high. It's
Because
just
you
it's
introduced me to like NADDPod and stuff, and now I'm so far into
Oh, tell me where you're
campaign
at in
one.
NADDPod.
I'm at Deadeye. I'm in
I love
Shadowfell. It's
that's in the
really fun.
60s, I think,
Yes. Yeah.
episodes.
I'm at
um
62, I think.
yeah. Oh, man, Deadeye's such a great character, and it's so fun because you get Brennan like just fully breaking um um
Yeah.
um
He's the
uh,
worst character. It's great. It's
yeah.
so good. There's too much damage. He can do too many things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that
It's
also means
perfect.
you've hit episode 55, which I just had to Google, which is truly one of my favorite moments of anything, anytime, anywhere, which is, um, uh, what's your favorite food? Dot, 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 chicken.
It's so good. It's such a
It's
random question to ask, and it's
yeah, it's
perfect.
so perfect. Like, of course, like
It's
I
so
don't know if
good.
you subscribe to their short rests.
I didn't because I don't have the money for more than one Patreon, and so I only have World's Beyond Number.
That's
And
fair.
then episode 50 came, and they reacted so much to like the cliffhanger sent at the end of
Mhm.
episode 50, and I was like, oh no, I need to know what they're thinking. But I was in a bus on top of a mountain, and the money went through to Patreon, but I couldn't
Couldn't
get the
download the
content.
episode. Oh
No.
no.
So I had to wait half an hour, and then I can't not listen. So I had to listen to the next episode, and then it was kind of, so now I have it for a month. So
Mhm.
I'm listening to short rests from 50 to now, basically.
Yeah. Because like, well, at least then you get the short rest for 55 when
Yes,
like Murph goes into full detail of like why he decided not to tell anybody, like why he decided to like make it Balnor and like all those things. Oh man,
so
truly
good.
one of my favorite moments. It's they had a shirt, I don't know if they still have it in the store, for a really long time, that was like 3 lines of dots and then the word chicken.
Perfect.
And like every part of me was like, I want this shirt, no one will ever understand it, and
No,
I
because we
just
talked about that on the short rest. Like, no, we can't have merch with this because it will be a
yeah.
bad shirt.
But they did.
Great. I'm so glad to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, boy, like choosing between Worlds Beyond Number and NADDPod is tough for one Patreon a month, because like the thing, because like obviously like the Worlds Beyond Number is so special and fun. The thing, but like it's bi-weekly Patreon content, and like
Yeah.
NADDPod you get weekly Patreon content, so like it's hard to be like, oh man, which one is more valuable. I personally, because I subscribe to both, but like my order is like NADDPod, then Worlds Beyond Number, just because. Although like I said, I don't know that like it would be hard to not get to hear the fireside chats on Worlds Beyond Number.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
It's so fun. Especially like the last one, of course, is insane because of
Yeah.
the baby.
Yes.
Which is the only way to announce a baby ever
It's so
now.
fantastic.
You
Yeah.
have to make a radio show about running through a jungle. That's no one can have a baby and not do it that way.
It's so good to not announce a pregnancy, but announce we have a full baby. Yeah.
I love it. It's so good.
Also, I'm so happy they announced it because I was sitting on that information and I hated it.
Amazing.
And like it wasn't that I ever considered making a video and talking about it, because I just like, not only would Ben Brennan definitely never talk to me, like no one from Dropout would talk to me.
Here just to yell at you.
Yeah. But like, you know, like the fear that I had was that like I would be on like a live stream or something and I would say something like, well, now that Brennan, and then have to like stop myself mid sentence and be like, oh no, what do I do? And like I was like, we can't ever talk about it. And so when he finally made the announcement, I was like, whew, I no longer have to hold this information inside. But yeah, truly what a wild thing that someone
so
sent me
good.
that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that person is not on my feed anymore because I blocked them, because don't do that.
That was really good.
Yeah. So, and also like, so obviously so happy for Brennan and Izzy. It's also very funny because obviously like in my Jasper interview, I talked to him about like what it was like knowing you were going to be a new dad while playing a new dad. And then like also at that table, Brennan and Izzy, who were going to be new parents, not playing new parents, but like as someone pointed out that like Brennan at one point says, they attacked my pregnant sister, so I'm going to kill them. And Brennan and Izzy obviously like knew that Izzy was pregnant at that point, and presumably everyone at the table did. Yeah. It's very it's a thing that I was like, man, now I want to talk to Jasper again and be like, all right, what was it like bonding about being first time dad with Brennan, first time in the dome? Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that clip like 5 times after this and cry a lot. That's horrible. I love it.
Yeah. Oh man, the thing. I mean, obviously, like I talked to Jasper about this. That like Erica saying to him, "You're gonna be a good dad." Like I was just like, "Hey, did that get you?" Like, and I know, like he said, like that he was able to like separate like actor brain and like actual brain in the moment. But then, like when he got home to Bria's house, it was just like, oh, Erica said him to be a good dad. And I was like, yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, it's also sort of, I had a very weird thought of like, if you know I ever do get to talk to Brennan, like one of the things that I spend a lot of time thinking about is like, because I have a 2-year-old, is you know like, will NADDPod be around still in 15 years? Will Worlds Beyond Number be around in 15 years? You know, when he would be like an appropriate age to start listening to those things. And like how cool it would be to get to share those stories with him. You know, like I know like Brennan and Bria and Lou and Erica have all talked about like, I mean, I think they've said like, we want to do this for the rest of our lives, and like obviously like things change, but like you know like if they,
at least 10 years, right?
And I like you know, and certainly with the speed at which Worlds Beyond Number is progressing, I mean, it's going to be 10 years before they're level 10. I'm curious what numbered D&D system we will be on by the time like the Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One wraps up. It'll be like someone right now playing like a 2E game, and they're like, what? It's been going for 30 years? But like I've had that thought of like, it would be really cool to like share these stories with my son. It would be cool if like they still existed and we could go to like live shows together. I was like, oh man, I would really love to ask Brennan about that. But how do I ask him that and not make it about the fact that he also has a kid now? And so now like that fear has left my brain as well. Anyway, none of that is important. But yeah, I haven't listened to this week's Worlds Beyond Number. I haven't listened to last week's NADDPod yet either. I fell really far behind. I'm actually not current on junior year either. Like I didn't have 2 hours and 45 minutes to watch last night because I didn't get the episode early.
I mean, it starts here at 1 a.m., so I don't ever have 3 hours at 1 a.m. to watch anything.
That's
we
fair.
managed to watch half of it at dinner, and that's it.
I don't know when I watched a good amount of it, because I kept thinking like, okay, I'm gonna stop when this scene is over, because I was tired, and then it like just kept getting better, and I kept being like, okay, the next scene, and then like, Brennan would be like, does anyone else want to do anything? I'm like, this is going to be a good one. And then Lou would be like, I want to. And I was like, oh, but I want to see what Fabian's going to do.
Too much stretching now. Sorry.
Okay.
Hello. Come on. I know, she's just standing in the door staring at me.
Of course.
Yeah. Didn't want cuddles at all.
Yeah.
Just want to see what's happening.
Yeah. I hear you talking. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. These are not the normal YouTube noises.
Yeah. How are you feeling about junior year thus far? 3.5 episodes in for you.
3.5 in. It's really, I like it. I like it a lot. I will never forgive Brennan for all of the breakups and all of the NPCs that are not there. But it's really good. Me and my partner talked about it after the first 2 episodes. That was like, oh, this felt like a side quest that we just didn't get a year ago. And then episode 3 felt like a first episode. So that was really nice. I liked it.
Yeah.
I like the pacing.
I really like that as well. I am like very cognizant that, Siobhan said it was like, it's the goof season. And then like episode 2 was so devastatingly sad.
Insane.
And episode 3, pretty sad as well.
Yeah. Not getting better.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't have the context of like American high school. So that's also very fascinating. Of being like, why is the stress on the 3rd out of 4 years? That makes no sense.
It does not.
No.
At least Siobhan is at the table to also be confused.
That helps a lot.
Your 3rd year in high school, junior year is when you like start applying to colleges, when you take like all the important tests that are going to tell you if you can get into those colleges. So usually by the time like you're in your senior year, certainly by like halfway through your senior year, where you're going to college already, like everything's sort of settled, and you're just like riding out the end of your like high school.
That sounds very comfortable though. We get to know where we're going to college or university in the middle of summer before we're going. So if you've applied to several cities, you can't find a place to live until there's a month left, and it's horrible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
No.
Yeah, in the United States, that's a thing. So your 4th year is called senior, and there's a thing called senioritis. That's a pretty common term. That's basically just like you're done because like you're set already. So you just don't care anymore about anything that is happening.
We have that, but we have like I think all of the Scandinavian countries, at least Denmark and Norway, have like this thing at the end of high school. There's a month of just drunken foolishness and pulling pranks and stuff. But they don't move your exams. So your exams are in the period of being a little shit. And like part of that is like teasing the younger classes and stuff. And it's really, really bad. And they have like seminars on how to not die during this month.
We don't have
great.
those here.
No.
Don't have seminars on how to not die. We just let our teens die here. We're not a great country. But hey, we produce some good entertainment.
Absolutely.
Which will transition me back to Dropout. So I know, I said, I mentioned very important people. Are there other Dropout shows that you're like, oh, I love Game Changer, whatever, make some noise?
Absolutely. Game Changer is forever my favorite. I will rewatch so many of those episodes so many times.
I know you don't like to make a list, but do you have some favorites?
I mean, yeah, Lie Detector, the first one, is amazing. I like the second one even more after The Cup for Time. The road trip with Ali, Zach, and Jacob was really amazing. All of the Brennan ranty ones, right? So Lie Detector and Yes and No, and yeah.
Do like the just one leg that just like
this is crazy. She's gonna just stay here name? Now. Jupiter.
Jupiter. Lovely. Yeah. Hi, Jupiter.
Because she's orange and stripy.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And my partner is obsessed with IT and AI, so it's also Chat GPT, which is Jupiter. So, yeah, which is silly. And he tried to convince me to spell her name that way, but I won't do that. So officially, it's like the planet.
I mean, that's probably easier for forms. We have a dog named PD. It's short for Pizza Dog from the Hawkeye comics.
It's amazing.
And like calling the vet and ever being like, hey, we have to make an appointment for PD. And they're like, they always type in PETEY, like PD, the name. And I'm like, nope, we got to try this again. Can I give you my name? And you look that up that way. Please stop looking it up under my pet's name.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love that.
I don't know what, today's Thursday. Great. It took me a minute to remember what day of the week it was. Always a good sign.
That's fair.
I'm posting my Kevin Stiller interview tomorrow to the Patreon. And he's the DP for Dimension 20 and Game Changer and a few other shows on Dropout. But he was a camera operator during Yes or No. And because I asked if there were any moments that like really got him, and he was like, Brennan's rant on Yes or No. He was like, it was so funny, and I was laughing so hard I had to take my hands off the camera because I was shaking the camera because I couldn't stop laughing. He's like, so I was just useless. I couldn't do anything.
Which is the right reaction.
Yeah.
What else can you? I love Ali being like, wait, was that rehearsed? And we're wrong?
Yeah, was Brennan really the person on it?
Which makes the most sense. That's an insane monologue.
Yeah.
To pull out of your ass.
Yeah. Kevin also, I mean, like, confirmed, and like, obviously we knew, but that like, it truly was just like an improvised monologue that Brennan can just do at the drop of a hat. I mean, like as someone with the Worlds Beyond Number Patreon, I'm sure you probably heard like Taylor has talked about, Brennan doesn't have notes, or I think Brennan mentioned that. Like
insane.
That notes mess him up, and it's like, what do you mean? How do you do those descriptions then? Like
I'm the same, just without the good descriptions. When I DM, it's like, oh, I have 3 notes about this. I will say that, but in full sentences, and then that's it. That's done.
Yeah, I as a TM with a lot of years, I don't know a lot, but like 7 years of experience under my belt, like I feel very comfortable like improvising pretty much everything at the table. My notes are now very much like barely bullet points. But if I'm ever like, okay, I need to describe the Citadel and it's very important, and like I want to make sure I hit all of these points, like I will write out that block of text because like I don't want to miss anything. And it's wild to me that Brennan doesn't have to do that at all and can do the most stunning descriptions I've ever heard.
That is amazing. I can't write things, but I see them so clearly that I can just tell everyone what I see, which is great. It's just not as poetic as Brennan. Why are you doing this? She's on my keyboard now. No. Great. I'm gonna die.
You asked for it.
I did. I opened the door for this.
You got. If you're halfway through the episode, it means you got to see Kristen Appleby's attempt multiple animal handling checks to pet Kalina.
I did. That's
so good.
About where we ended. We made it through the Cassandra. Oh, it's so good. I screamed so loud at the end of last episode.
That was
the reveal of that shouldn't be shocking because I knew she was the familiar, but Kalina's so scary. I loved it so much.
It was really nice to get like it makes sense, but like Brennan, of course, has like those in the back of his head of like, all right, who do I have like waiting in the wings that are terrifying nightmares? And
to destroy my friends.
Yeah, we got Kalina back, presumably Chungle Down Bim and Baron are both coming back. It's just they have to.
They have to. They made pins and animations. They have to come back.
Yeah, I'm no longer. I think I mentioned this to someone. I don't know who. That like
I think it was on stream.
Maybe it was on stream that like I'm no longer the person that's like, I don't know if that means anything. All things mean something now. Like a Baron animatic means we're getting Baron back.
Yes. Which is why I'm hopeful that Ida will come back because she was the pin of the month for August. I think
somewhere back
like
there.
It was summer. The last drop that made me like, oh, I have to buy stuff from Dropout now, and now I have too much. So I'm using it all in this interview, which is great. It's my Intrepid Heroes mug. And
wearing my High Intrepid Heroes
shirt, and I have my
Keep Going.
It's going to keep going, and then it's on Sleeping City underneath in case I got too hot. And no, why? Why are you biting me? I did nothing. Oh, she looks so angry. Okay, that's fine.
I think that I just get like her ears at like the bottom of the frame. I think I've mentioned this somewhere, but like, like I promote the Dropout merch a lot, but I don't buy a ton of it. Like probably not, obviously, like because they have the pin of the months, but you can buy in for like 6 months of them now. They have that like option. So then you would only pay like shipping once, which is great. I think probably especially for someone like you who has to pay international shipping. And so but like Chungle Down Bim is not a pin that I need on my backpack.
No,
like it's just not one that I need. As much as I love Chungle Down Bim, like just not my vibe for my backpack. But we'll see, because like if like. My son is chasing my dog. If like February, March, April, May are all like bangers, like obviously I'm just going to buy into the pin of the month. And that will be the problem is if February is awesome, the question then becomes like, all right, do I gamble that I'll only want February? Because if I don't buy in, anyway. It's gonna be.
No, I get it.
There's gonna be mental calculations of like how much money should I spend on pins. I'm. I don't. This is the general vibe for all of my interviews. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm surprised that like we got off on a weird tangent.
No, it's great. It's a conversation more than an interview, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have notes technically.
I love that you showed your notes. They are so perfect.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, you
Um,
have to go now.
yeah.
So it's yeah, that's the right way to make notes.
Yeah, my notes are absolutely wild. They sometimes are written along the side instead of because when I run out of
Yeah,
room up
when
and
around
down.
yeah, that's how you got to do it.
But like there might be like one that goes all the way across. There might be two that are next to each other for no reason. It doesn't make sense. And then I just glance down and I'm like, oh yeah, I did want to ask about MNNNSNMSNBC. So I did
Yes.
write down the actual all the letters that he did say. Um, yeah, I uh, uh, I'm so in love with very important people. And it's not just because Vic is my best friend, but it certainly doesn't hurt.
It's really good. It's
Yeah, I think
amazing.
because it's sort of our first. I mean, obviously Play It by Ear isn't technically a game show, but it still feels very much like kind of game showy because they're getting prompts to like do stuff. It's our first feels like our first like non-game show other than Dimension 20 on Dropout.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I just like everyone's so good. And like the makeup department is if not Emmy winning, they're at least Emmy nominated because it's like
It's
the makeup
so
department from
good.
The Mandalorian. Like they hired the best people in the world to do this. Um,
I do wish we
it's
got more of like the process,
yes,
but
yeah,
it's crazy. Iffy's whole face,
yeah,
insane. It's
yeah,
so good.
yeah. I one of the things that I'm like they have like not, code names, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
So like I think Iffy was like horny alien, something like that,
I
because they knew
mean,
they were
yeah,
putting it on Iffy, and so they thought like
so
that's
it has
probably
to
the
be horny.
vibe he's going to take with it,
Yeah.
and then man, I saw because one of the new things that I'm going to do with Vic for starting this interview is my suggestion is going to be that Vic stays out of the comments and that I will read them for Vic, and that way, like I can just report back the good ones, and Vic doesn't have to see the bad ones.
Good. Yeah.
Um, but like one of the comments I saw about about the most recent episode was that all episodes should have two people because they can play off each other and that it allows for them to like tone it back down and like make it into more of a narrative. And I'm like, I don't know what show you
But
watched then
no.
because all the episodes have had a narrative and have had moments of like we went too high, not too high, but like we hit a peak, let's bring it back down. And having talked to the director of the show, like I know that when they like take breaks while they're shooting, it's to like for Tamara, the director, to come in to be like, okay, now here's what you've kind of set up. Maybe we take it in this direction, and make like a suggestion, basically of a prompt of like, how do we keep this narratively satisfying? So like the Effie episode is, what if at the end of it you are okay with each other instead of really combative? And
Yeah.
so like it made for like a narrative arc in the episode. Anyway, that's an example of a comment I won't share with Vic because those people are wrong. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I
And
look.
also, there are always two. Vic is there to play off.
Well, they
It's
meant two
yeah, I
people in
know, but
makeup. Yeah, it's
Vic is enough. It's
yes,
amazing.
so good. I think Nana is my favorite episode. I think I laughed more at. I do have to flip to my notes. Marionette Kunky and Zotan de la Doll. I think I laughed harder at that episode, or I laughed more, I should say. I laughed harder at Nana. Um,
Yeah.
but like I laughed basically the whole episode with Jacob and Kimia. Um, but yeah, it's another thing where like they've all been so good and so different, and I'm so excited to see the rest of them. Man, I'm excited for Zach's episode. it looks so wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the interview I did with Tamar, but
Don't remember.
she said that Zach was the final episode they filmed.
Right, yeah.
So she knew that they didn't need the set anymore. And she
Oh
told that to
no.
Zach before going in. So I don't know what happens, but it's gonna be wild. And that apparently, like,
It's amazing.
Vic has said about that episode that it's like, because like Vic breaks in the Jacob and Kimmy episode, like you see them laugh, and like that's very fun. But apparently in the Zach episode, there's like a full 5 minutes where they had to cut because Vic couldn't stop laughing, and or couldn't get it together. I don't know if it was laughing necessarily. But yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be the finale,
Yeah.
which is a bummer because it's
You
the
have to wait.
like, yeah, I have to wait for it. But also, like, I want, like, I've made contact with one of the makeup people, to do an interview with them, and I really wanted to talk to them after Zach's episode because Zach's makeup is, I think, the wildest of the season because, like, you can still see his face and it doesn't look like him, which is, it doesn't make sense to me.
No.
And
I don't know if I love it or hate it.
yeah, it's deeply upsetting.
Yeah.
But like, so like, I was like, I want to wait until I get Tommy Shrigley to talk to the makeup team, and now I'm like, but if it's the finale, then I'm gonna have to wait like 8 more weeks or whatever. I don't know how many episodes there are. Like before I get to talk to them, and I want to talk to them now. But this it's just such a good time to be a Dropout fan.
Yeah.
We've got so much good content, so much new good content is on the way. I assume you saw we got our first peek of what Nobody Asked is.
Yes. I'm a bit terrified. There's a lot of shows happening.
Yeah. I posted a video about that and someone was like, I just don't want them to spread themselves too thin and like get burned out. And I was like, well, I don't think that's going to be a problem because I think they've been very smart about it. And the fact that there are so many shows in development is because like 2023 was so successful of a year for them, that, like, they're able to afford to like produce all these other shows. And, like I saw someone on Reddit yesterday said that they follow Jess Ross, and that Jess on LinkedIn, and Jess changed their like job title or whatever on LinkedIn to showrunner for Dropout. So like potentially another show coming with Jess.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah, I love Jess, and I love to get to see her on stuff. It feels very good to be a Dropout fan these days. So we talked Game Changer, very important people, Dimension 20. Obviously like World's Beyond Number and NADDPod. But what other are there any other like things that are you a make some noise person? Are you play it by ear, dirty laundry?
Yeah, I mean, I watch anything and everything. But I've become more and more a Make Some Noise fan. It took a little while for me. For some reason, I think I got hung up on the unchanged part.
Yeah.
That is now unchanged.
Yes.
Which then I'm okay with it. Then it's fine. So I mean, it's just the quality of Dropout shows are too good. They're too good.
Yeah.
And I have to watch all of it, which is why I'm terrified for 15 new shows.
15 shows in production.
Yeah.
But like I said in that video, I think that probably includes Dimension 20 seasons as individual shows. And so that is probably, obviously, Never Stop Blowing Up, Dungeons and Drag Queens 2. I believe they are currently in pre-production for another season of Dimension 20. And then, I mean, they probably have like two, I mean, if they're doing that, they probably have like 3 that they're like about to shoot or like are prepping to shoot, because they do that all that in blocks.
Yeah.
And like obviously like Game Changer is in production, like it's in post production. VIP is in production.
Yeah, that's true.
As well. So I think, like I think it's not we're gonna have 15 new shows later this year to watch.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it is one of those things where like if I don't get that episode of Dimension 20 early, like I'm really struggling to like get it, even by like Thursday afternoon, or like I think Thursday night. And if Dropout is suddenly like, we have new shows Monday through Friday, I'm gonna be like, oh no, when will I have time to watch these?
That's too much. I felt that
Yeah.
this fall when Burrow's End was going to start, I was like, there's been so many seasons because they were so short seasons last year that the whole summer and fall with 4 different seasons.
Yeah, because we had Ravening War. There was 4 episodes. There was 4 episodes.
And then
Mentopolis was,
and Burrow's End.
I don't remember how many episodes.
6 or 10.
Burrow's End was 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. How many episodes was Mentopolis?
I just
6.
rewatched this. I should know. Great.
It was 6 episodes. So yeah. So like there were
so much.
2 4s and a 6, and then Burrow's End a 10 to finish out that year.
Yeah,
it was a huge production year for them. And like one of the great things obviously is that it's not like Rick Perry and 2 other people building everything now. Like they have, I think 70 people or something like working behind the scenes on Dimension 20. Like it's wild, and like it's so like obviously like you get to see things like The Bear because they have the amount of people that are able to work on that. Like Casey McGeorge, who was art director for Burrow's End, because they were so busy with that, they couldn't be art director for junior year. So like Alison Gondek is art director on junior year. Like they have enough crew to be like, okay, like you're in charge of this season, you're in charge of this season. Like let's figure all this out, which is I think smart and good.
Yeah.
I'm not worried, is what I'm saying.
No, we're good. It's just a lot.
Yeah. I'm worried for my ability to consume it all. I'm not worried for their ability to produce it.
Yeah, exactly. That's same. That's what I'm worried about. I'm like, I don't want to drop out of any shows that they do because they're so good.
Yeah.
I don't do these on purpose. But I watched so much Dimension 20 last year. I calculated it, and it was 452 hours.
Oh boy, that's
of Dimension 20. That's too much, and so that's why I felt like it was a lot of seasons, because in between all of them, I watched everything else.
Right. Yeah.
And it was too much. That's too much Dimension 20.
Yeah. The plus side of being current is I don't rewatch things because I'm out of time. I'm barely staying current. Like I can't rewatch anything. So like the plus side of being current is I just saw the number of hours that Dimension 20 produced last year. Like it wasn't like I didn't have any bonus. It makes me think of like the first year I got into NADDPod. My like Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year was like, you listened to 350 hours of NADDPod this year, because I had so much to catch up on. And now it's just you listen to the number of hours that NADDPod produced. Like I consumed
so
all
nice.
of it. But I didn't consume, I wasn't like burning through like 4 episodes a week trying to get current.
No, that's me now with NADDPod. Yeah. It's a mountain of stuff.
It is. Yeah.
But it is,
such a good mountain.
It's a really good mountain, and almost an episode a day. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
I will say, like, I know plenty of folks who like started listening, and when they caught up, they're like, "Oh no, now I'm current, and I have to wait a week between. Yeah. You have to wait 2 weeks between episodes because they're a bi-weekly show as well."
Because I did that with World Fair Number, and then I was like, I need something, and then you gave me NADDPod, and that's amazing.
Very happy I never shut up about NADDPod.
Great.
When I
Don't.
did an interview with Dan the Baker, and they were like, "What do you want to plug in the TTRPG space?" And I was like, "NADDPod, I guess." A thing that's
This unknown
yeah. I was like,
TTRPG.
I just want more people to talk about it with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm always so happy, and it's one of the things that like I adore about the Discord. And my Discord is like getting to see people like post like, "Oh, I just got to Deadeye" or whatever. Like I love like because I'm not probably ever gonna re-listen unless it's literally like with my son. Like I'm not going back. So
No.
it's very fun to like to get to relive. And it's even fun to be like, oh, I'm at like people would be like episode 62 or whatever, and just like crying emoji, and I have to like Google like NADDPod episode 62 because I have no idea what they're referencing.
Yeah.
But Maya, this has been absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
If the folks out there wanted to find you on the internet, where can they do that?
They can find me on Tumblr, and I'm gonna try to say this in a way that's somehow able to write it which is Asgard's Raya, which is my name on Tumblr, which is like a Norwegian version of the Norse name of the Wild Hunt from Norse mythology.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's really complicated. There's 2 A's in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But that's it. I'm on Tumblr because of Abria. I came back.
Hey, I have the clip like ready to go of Abria saying that she is on Tumblr and she sees everything that people post.
She does. It's great. I've tagged her in one post and she saw it immediately. It's wonderful. I was gone from Tumblr for 5 years and she brought me back, and that's great.
Good work, Abria.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been delightful. Again, thank you so much to donating for Doctors Without Borders. It's just, I am overwhelmed, both in terms of what I have to do, but also in like emotional joy.
Yeah, you did this. It's amazing.
I did very little.
No. You did very little.
We don't do compliments for me here. Anyway, Maya, thank you so much. And as always, I don't know how to end these, so I'm just going to hit stop recording.